Hola amigos, today I wanted to make a quick video introducing cambiadores de raíz, stem changing. It's a new grammar concept we're going to be learning, so it's a good time to take notes. Es un buen momento para tomar apuntes. Before we begin, there's a couple of things that I want you to remember. First, all verbs can be categorized into three sections: ARs, ERs, and IRs. And we've already learned all of the regular endings for these verbs. O, as, a, amos, an, o, es, e, emos, en, and o, es, e, imos, en. The other thing we need to learn is that there are four types of stem changers. There's IE changers, UE changers, I changers, and Y changers. For now, we're only going to be focusing on the IE stem changing verb. The nice part about the IE stem changing verbs is we already know one. We learned the verb tener. Now, before we begin, let's go over some of the parts of tener. First, we have our infinitive end. It's just the end of the verb. This is what tells us what kind of ending to put on it: AR, ER, and IR. Whatever's left over in the Spanish word is called the stem. So, hence the name stem changer. We're going to make a change to that stem, which usually stays the same. Now, in Spanish, they prefer the word raíz, which is root. They call them root changers. But in English, we usually refer to them as stem changers. Now, in English, all of our infinitives start with to. So, to is the English infinitive signifier. To have, for example, to run, to open, to close, to begin, all of those are infinitives. So as I use the word infinitive, that's what you'll be listening for. Now, the verb tener is usually written with a yo in parentheses and an IE in parentheses. And there's three things that we can see here. One is that it's an ER verb. This means we're going to have the regular endings of O, ES, E, EMOS, EIS, and EN. The yo in parentheses means that we have an irregular yo form. You might notice in the yo form here, we have a G. We don't know where that comes from, but it's there. Tengo. The IE means that it's an IE stem changing verb. And you'll notice in the forms to, él, ella, usted, and ellos, ellas, ustedes, there's a stem change where the E changes to IE. Tienes, tiene, and tienen. Let's look at a verb, though, that's only a stem changer and doesn't have any irregular yo forms. Maybe it'll be a little easier to understand. This verb is querer, to want. Now, querer has all the same parts that tener has an ER ending for its infinitive, QUER for the stem, and obviously it has an English counterpart, to want. Now, this is an IE stem changing verb. All the verbs we're doing today are going to be IE stem changers. Now, the stem here, QUER, unlike tener, has two vowels. So we have to think which one is going to stem change. The answer is really easy. It's the last one. The stem vowel is always the last vowel in the stem. So when we conjugate it, that stem vowel E is going to change to IE. Here's what it will look like. Here we have a verb tree with the verb querer. It's an IE stem changer, so you'll notice all of the stem changes. Quiero, quieres, quiere, quieren. What you might notice is that this only affects the yo form, first person singular, the to form, second person singular, the él, ella form, third person singular, and the ellos, ellas form, third person plural. It does not affect nosotros or vosotros. When I draw a circle around them, you notice it's kind of in the shape of a boot. A lot of teachers refer to stem changers as boot verbs. I usually like to simplify my rules, and I stick with the one easy rule: nosotros never changes. Vosotros, if you're interested, always does what nosotros does. So nosotros never changes, vosotros is a copycat. Let's take a look at another one. This verb is preferir. Once again, has all the same parts as tener and querer. This time, though, it has an IR infinitive end. That only affects the nosotros form if you remember back to the regular endings. Our stem here, little on the longer side, prefer. We have two vowels in this one. Which one's going to stem change? The last one. And how are we going to change it? To an IE. Like I said, we're only doing IE stem changers today. So here's our forms. Prefiero, prefieres, prefiere, preferimos, preferís, prefieren. It's an IR verb, and it's an IE stem changer. So I'm going to highlight the IR endings and the IE stem changes. You'll notice, though, that nosotros and vosotros do not have the stem change. Why? Because nosotros never changes. Just repeat that right now. Nosotros never changes, and keep repeating it until Spanish 3. Let's try one more. This time we're going to have a little less guidance. Once again, all the same parts of the others. This time it's an AR infinitive verb. Our stem, nice and short, PENS, only has one vowel. So that's our stem vowel. It's going to IE change because we're only doing IE verbs, right? So here's an empty verb tree. Take a moment, pause the video, try and write out the forms that you think pensar has, keeping in mind it's an AR verb and an IE stem changer. Okay, so here's the forms of pensar. Pienso, piensas, piensa. Pensamos, pensáis, piensan. Nosotros never changes. So pienso, piensas, piensan, piensan have the stem change. Nosotros, vosotros don't. Pensamos, pensáis. Hopefully you got them all right. Let's do another one. This is the verb entender. It's an IE changer. There's two vowels in our stem, and hopefully you remember which one makes the change. The last one. So take a moment, pause the video, and make a verb tree with the forms of entender. All right, so the forms of entender are pronounced entiendo, entiendes, entiende, entendemos, entendéis, entienden. It's an ER verb, so we have the ER endings. IE stem changer, so nosotros doesn't change, entendemos. Here's a very similar one. This is the verb empezar. Notice the two vowels. I'm not going to tell you which one changes. And it's an AR verb. So go ahead, pause the video, make your verb tree. All right, the forms of empezar are empiezo, empiezas, empieza, empezamos, empezáis, empiezan. One last verb. This time, the verb cerrar. There's only one vowel in the stem, nice and easy. AR verb, nice and easy, means to close. So pause, write, unpause, then we'll continue. So the forms of cerrar: cierro, cierras, cierra, cerramos, cerráis, cierran. Those are all the stem changers for this chapter. There are other verbs, but we will learn them later. So in summary, a couple things I want you to walk away with. Number one, nosotros never changes. Say it again. Nosotros never changes. Just memorize it, internalize it, write it at the top of your notes, at the bottom of your notes, and inside every activity you do. Watch what kind of stem changer it is. Right now, we're only using IE changers, so it's pretty easy. But later on, we're going to add UE and I, and things will get a little more complicated. but it's pretty simple as long as you remember. Nosotros never changes. Watch what type of stem changer it is. The stem vowel is always the last vowel in the stem. This is true for all types of stem changers. And then the last thing, they use regular ends. So if you haven't memorized your regular ends yet, you really should. O, as, a, amos, an. O, es, e, emos, en. O, es, e, imos, en. The worst part about stem changers is this, though. There's no way to look at a verb and see, hey, that's a stem changing verb. You have to memorize them. So as you're studying your vocabulary and you look at the verb cerrar on your flashcard, write in IE stem changer underneath it and study it. Cerrar, IE stem changer, to close. Preferir, IE stem changer, to prefer. You can't just look and know. A lot of verbs look like stem changers that aren't, and a lot of verbs are stem changers that don't really look like it. You need to memorize it. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy studying, Spuds.